Welcome back to Returns and Refunds. We have with us here today Dr.Sibichen K Mathew, Director of Income Tax at the Centralized Processing Center in Bengaluru. In this session, we shall be finding out the most important reasons why refunds are held up and how to file grievances in respect of processing and the future of the Centralized Processing Center. Sir, so in respect of the processing of the refunds, the Centralized Processing Center is a complicated structure involving a lot of algorithms and a lot of stuff. So, what are the challenges that CPC experiences in the refund processing life cycle?
Thank you, Subhash, for that question. Because almost 70%, maybe 75% of all our grievances are related to refunds. When am I getting my refund? As I said in the earlier session, we had to wait up to 2 years to get our refund in the initial years. Now, as I said, 18% of returns are processed within a day. That means ideally you should get the refund also within 2-3 days after that, because the refund will be released to central refund banker. From there it will get credited to the taxpayer. So a few days after the processing of return, it will reach the taxpayer. Now, if you have filed your return correctly, without any error, there is no defects in the return. There is no defect in the return. There are no prima facie adjustments to be carried out in the return. You have mentioned your bank account number correctly in the return and also in the e-filing portal. It is validated bank account. It is a bank account where PAN is linked, PAN Aadhaar that linked for the bank account, and it is validated in the e-filing portal. And there are no past demands in your case. Then the refunds will come to you immediately. Now, the cases where refunds go delayed are mainly because sometimes bank account is not validated. When you talk about the bank account also, please make sure that the name in the bank account and name as per the PAN that matches. Because entire thing is system driven. System should ensure that refund goes to the correct person, to the correct bank account. So that is very important. When we talk about the demand, also same thing. You need to go to the portal and find out whether any demand is pending in my account, whether I have disagreed to that demand. These things to be seen. If there is no error, there is no prima facie adjustment, no defect, refund will reach the taxpayer faster. No. There are some scenarios where this won't happen to the taxpayer, because you are saying that okay, I asked for 10,000 rupees, I claimed a refund, I got only 8,000 rupees. Now I give one example of TDS mismatch. TDS statement filed by the deductor, and we match it with the CPC TDS statement regarding the TDS credit. At the time of processing the return, instead of 10,000 tax credit which you claimed, only 8,000 was available. There is a chance that you get only 8,000 rupees, whatever refund. If it is 8,000 is the refund due, only that you are getting. 10,000 is refund due, 8,000 only you are getting. Later, if we get the feed later from the TDS CPC, it's a continuous process. That balance 2,000 rupees, we give tax credit as a suo motu, we rectify. Same way, if there is a business rule change, if there is change of policy, let's change of due date, so wrongly some fees is calculated, or the interest is charged wrongly, all these taxpayer need not apply through a rectification application. we suo motu rectify those cases and send the revised intimation to taxpayer. So these are the areas where there will be continuous communication and rectification, and then issue further intimation to taxpayer. So what I said, Subhash, that if everything is okay, refund should reach faster to the taxpayer when after they file the return.
Right, sir. Sir, in many cases, we've also seen taxpayers wherein a confirmation was sought from them before the refund was issued. So what is the logic behind this, and why should taxpayers actually confirm before receiving the refund?
Certain category of income, taxpayers' income. Currently, if the refund claim is above 20,000, all the returns will be subject to a risk analysis. It's a system-driven thing. There's no human intervention in that. In the risk analysis, if the system throws up certain anomaly in the return, like some claims which never available in the earlier return, suddenly taxpayer has claimed multiple deduction claims. Or in certain cases where taxpayer, if an employee, he has not given to the employer any evidence saying that he has made certain investments, eligible for exemption or reduction. And suddenly all these are coming in the return. Certain cases, reductions are much more, disproportionate to the earlier taxpayer profile as seen in the returns. Such cases, system will throw up and categorize those returns separately, and a communication will be generated only to those cases, simple communication, asking the taxpayer whether whatever claims you made in the return is correct or not. If it is correct, confirm. If it is not correct, you do agree to file a revised return. We are given opportunity to the taxpayer. So if the taxpayer says, yes, all my claims are correct, he can send that option, submit that option in the portal. We will issue refund. If the taxpayer says, no, I would like to have a relook at this. This claim may not be correct. I'll file a revised return. Now, those who said that everything is right, confirmed, we will issue refund. But a random number of cases in that basket also will be subjected to some sort of verification whether that is correct or not. Now, those cases also there will be delay. So that's why you will say that my friend and myself filed return on the same day. He got the refund. I not got it. There are two things we should know. One is that returns are processed in batches. So that batch might have gone first. Parallelly, system takes it up. So there is a likelihood of that person getting the refund first. Secondly, cases which I mentioned, which is subject to a risk assessment or any other matters, defective returns, privacy adjustment, all those will get stuck. It is not that when 2% file return on same day, they will get the refunds also on the same day. Apart from that, a small percentage of cases will be subject to scrutiny, not by the centralized processing center, by the income tax department assessing officers, based on certain parameters. That is also based on certain risk parameters that is being selected. When a case is selected for scrutiny, the assessing officer decides whether the refund which is due as per the processing of return which have been done by centralized processing center, that should be issued, or we should hold it for some more time till the time assessment is completed. But one thing we should know, in India, a system of trusting the taxpayers is existing for last several years. Very small percentage of returns are scrutinized. If you take the average of last 2-3 years, only 0.36% of returns are scrutinized. That means 99.65% of cases, there is no scrutiny. Out of this 0.36% whatever, 0.20% will be complete scrutiny and balance will be a limited scrutiny on a simple, specific issues. So what I'm saying, the point I'm making is, even if it is, some refunds are held up because of scrutiny assessment, that are also only very minimum number. So that is under section 241A, assessing officer can hold refund. Not in all scrutiny cases, depending upon the facts and circumstances, it will be done. Those cases will be blocked for some time till the time assessment is completed. Once assessment is completed or a response is received from the assessing officer to release it, whichever is earlier, we release those refunds.
Thank you, sir. Sir, in addition, there are certain taxpayers in whose cases the refund that was due to them was also adjusted against an outstanding demand for some earlier year. So, what is the procedure that is followed in this regard, and what is the next step for the taxpayers?
Yes, Subhash. When a refund is determined, before releasing the refund, the system will check it up, the history of the taxpayer in the profile, whether any earlier year's demand still existing, not paid by the taxpayer. Now, this point I would like to convey to all the taxpayers. You need to go to occasionally to your profile and see the outstanding demands in your name. And there is a drop-down menu where you can say that I agree or disagree. I would like to give this response to this outstanding demand of this particular year. It can be 11-12 or 12-13 or any assessment year. You need to give a response. Secondly, now when we raise a demand under 14319, I said disallowance, when we make a disallowance, we send an intimation under 14319. And the communication regarding demand is already sent to the taxpayer. If that is not seen by the taxpayer, he will not know that there is a demand. Again, as I said in the beginning, the communication, this is very important that you access to the communication, that you give the correct contact details, you get the communication. Now, when the refund is determined, if there is a demand, automatically demand should get adjusted. But if the demand, if above 5,000 rupees, before adjustment, what we do is we send a communication to the taxpayer asking this much refund is due in your case for this year, but there are certain demands in your name. For example, 2018-19, 20,000, 2020-21, 50,000. Can we go ahead adjusting those demands to this refund, and balance refund we will issue if any balance is available. And we are giving 30 days time. Within the 30 days, taxpayer is supposed to reply back. If taxpayer can agree or disagree for adjustment, they can give the whatever reasons, that automated process they can mention in the portal. Now, if taxpayer agrees, yes, there are some demands, please go ahead adjusting. No, they say agree, then we will adjust those demands. If the taxpayer disagrees, then what we do is we will send that response to the assessing officer. The assessing officer will go through it, examine, and assessing officer, she will give a response to us whether it should be, this demand is correct or not. The assessing officer says, if the demand is correct, then we will adjust. The assessing officer says is not correct, then we don't have to. No? So this is the procedure. So any communication regarding, so that these are the cases where refund will be delayed again. No? The taxpayer is not responding. So we have a lot of grievances coming. Repeat grievances. My refund does not come. I filed my grievance petition several times. There are many cases where this communication regarding demand adjustment has gone. It has been adjusted. Taxpayer is not aware of that. So this is very important that taxpayer give a response whenever there is a demand raised. Otherwise, it will get adjusted.
Right, sir. Sir, in case of taxpayers who are not satisfied or who have outstanding issues, and because now it's the new portal, they need to somehow raise a grievance or raise a issue about this. What is the process or what are the facilities in the new portal that allow the taxpayers to file grievances, and how does the system handle these grievances?
There is a very robust, systematic grievance redressal mechanism in CPC. Just continue with my earlier response to your question regarding demand adjustment. If there is a grievance coming from the taxpayer saying that, why did you adjust my refund with some demand? That is already stayed by court. There is a chance that sometimes that also get adjusted if that information is not being passed to the assessing officer. Assessing officer, normally they should get the feed. But there are times where assessing officer taxpayer has obtained a verdict from tribunal or any appellate authority where the certain demand is stayed. So assessing officer needs to upload that flag. They have to flag that this demand is stayed or 20% is stayed because assessing has gone on appeal. These should be available in the system. Because there is no human intervention. The system will see whether assessing officer has put a flag saying that this demand is stayed or not. So it is better the taxpayer also, whenever he gets a stay order for in demand, inform the assessing officer, remind him that it has to be uploaded in the ITBA portal so that it will not get adjusted. Coming to the grievance in a macro level, we have a very good grievance redressal mechanism in CPC, headed by a joint director, additional director rank. Below that, large number of officers, and we have about 180 official executives working in the call center and the grievance center. We have about 180 lines for the CPC call center. And when we conducted an informal study among various providers who are having call center, and we found that we are having one of the best, what we call the call picking time, response time, something around less than 20 seconds, the average I am saying, even there is a peak comes. But still there is a lot of scope for improvement. I am not saying that it's a perfect system. Definitely we can improve and we need to improve, we will do that. But this in the grievance system which we are having, we can accommodate even 12 grievance in 12 languages. It's not that only in English and Hindi they should raise the grievance. That also can be accommodated. And there is a provision where the call center executive may not be knowing all the complex questions which is being asked. It will be escalated online to another official, and if it is too serious or where too technical in nature, our officers also will guide the concerned grievance team and give a reply. There are 2-3 challenges we face here. One, see, centralized processing center grievance mechanism is only for grievance related to processing or refund, all this related to centralized processing center. We get so many grievances related to general queries of Income Tax Act or Income Tax Assessment or investigation. Those things we may not be able to answer, we are not authorized to answer. So taxpayer get disappointed, you have a call center, why you are not responding. So taxpayer should know that there is a separate grievance mechanism in Income Tax Department for other grievances which are not related to centralized processing center. Seva and other either the field officers, and various other mechanisms are available with the income tax department. So such queries we may not be able to answer. And then these grievances are also, we take it through emails. So those also will be considered, whatever coming through the portal. They are raising the, so best grievance platform for redressing grievance of centralized processing center is actually in the portal. In the portal, there is a drop-down menu for raising a grievance. If you would like to get the grievance addressed systematically, that is the best option. So when it is what happened, they'll get the telephone numbers of some officers or email IDs of somebody and then call up, send mail. Systematic resolution will not happen there, because every call come to call center, every ticket or grievance raised in e-filing portal, that is being monitored, that is being audited. Every conversation in call center we are recording, and every ticket raised, complaint raised in e-filing portal, we have a systematic machinery to go through it, how many days it took to resolve it. Now, certain grievances will be resolved immediately. Certain grievances, many taxpayers will think weeks and weeks we are trying, it's not happening. Please understand one practical difficulty. In a system-driven environment, there will be a lot of technical issues. Technical problems might happen in between. So where we may have to do a technical fix, where we may not be able to say this will be resolved in 2 days or 3 days, it might take 1 week or 2 weeks. Barring that, all the grievances are attended, and we are giving the responses to the taxpayer. Apart from, there is a chat facility in the new portal. We have a chat facility. There are 1.25 lakh taxpayers, persons have utilized the chat facility in the portal to get the information. So these are the basically about the grievance redressal mechanism in CPC. Another point also I would like to inform that many times grievances are filed without the PAN number and the specific assessment year for which they are having the grievance. That is not given. Secondly, it is always, please ensure that you raise a grievance through the portal. If it is not through portal, it should be from your registered email ID. If the call is made to the call center, there also we will be asking you to input certain data, date of birth or PAN details, certain data to ensure that the person who is asking for this information is the correct person. We have the experience of random people calling, asking for the status of refunds for whatever motives. It is not coming from the taxpayer. Different people will be calling and asking how much is the refund, when is it coming. These things all have lot of problems. And similarly, there are people coming to the call center asking for the status of a case without giving the proper identity. Such things will not be entertained. This is only to protect the rights of the taxpayer, the taxpayer's privacy.
Thank you, sir. Sir, CPC has always been the epitome of reform in the income tax department, and we've seen that over the last many years. Every year there's been new additions, primarily with the focus of easing tax compliance. So what does the future lay in store for CPC? What are the new reforms that you're planning to bring in for further easing the tax complaints of taxpayers?
So the most important thing, we would like to reduce the grievances. So as I said at the beginning, that most of the grievances are coming regarding the refunds. Now, with the committed team working in centralized processing center, and with the initiatives of the department, there are a lot of changes happening in the centralized processing center system. It's a dynamic system. So like Income Tax Act is a dynamic legislation. Changes happen every time. So now this year an act is passed. Next year the act will be different. There will be amendments. So whenever there is an amendment in the act, whenever there is a new rule implemented, we need to make changes in the portal immediately. Now, people ask still why the return is so complex even now. There's so many attachments, so many schedules. How will you fill up all these things? Because in India, Income Tax Act is more of a social welfare legislation. Apart from gathering revenue for the government, it is an enabler to promote certain categories of entrepreneurship, allowing certain claims for certain type of people, giving certain rebates, certain reliefs, exemptions. When these are available in the Income Tax Rules and Act, we need to have certain conditions. Everybody cannot claim the deductions and exemptions. So there should be certain parameters. So this has to be inbuilt in the return for each of those deduction claims. So naturally, return gets slightly lengthy and slightly complicated for the good reasons. Now it is a mission of the department as well as the Centralized Processing Center to make it more taxpayer friendly. I am sure in the coming years we will introduce more functionalities. The TIN 2.0 system which department is going to launch soon, that will reduce lot of issues or delays when a tax payment is made by the taxpayer. When he makes a payment, not only through the bank account, through any other UPI or any other method, this all will be integrated, and instantly he will get the challan or whatever receipts for the tax payment. Same way, refund payment also directly to the bank account, centralized banker, and to the bank account without routing through any other intermediary. All these are the pipeline. Once it comes, there will be lot of improvement in the system. Then, as I said, when the bank account validation, all these things are smooth. I agree, there are certain delays in the refund failures are happening because of interface problem. Last year we faced the problem because of two counts. One is a portal, 1.0 portal to 2.0 portal change happened, and there were a lot of bank validation issues were there. Secondly, many banks got merged last year. So then IFSC got changed, code change, bank account number changed. So with all that, there was some delay. I think within the next few months, things all will get settled properly, and refunds also will go faster manner. So that in total. Secondly, that mobile app, that is also in the final stage. Mobile app of their portal and the functionalities that comes, it will be easy for the taxpayer to do all the filings and other things. And we also have an initiative of demand management, which is going to be very useful for the taxpayers. That is also in the planning stage, pilot project stage. If that comes, regarding how to resolve the demand issues, like if I am having a demand of 2008-9 or 7-8, which is lying still in my system, and CPC came to picture only after 2010, we do not have any details of those demands. The assessing officer has to necessarily go to the jurisdictional assessing officer and find out why this demand has come. This is my proof of tax payment. Rectify it. Then for subsequent years, if the CPC has processed the return, the demand will be lying in our system. Taxpayer has to come here. So he has to go to different places to resolve the issue. Now the government's initiative is that, department's initiative is that we should have a demand management system. A team should work to coordinate between the taxpayer, Centralized Processing Center, CPC TDS, and the assessing officer to take care of all those demands and give an opportunity to the taxpayer to explain. The documents can be bring to the notice of the assessing officer. If there is a TDS mismatch issue, take up with the TDS, CPC TDS, instead of taxpayer running around. Whether we can have a team coordinating with the taxpayer, helping him, that is being planned. It will come soon. That will be a great thing for the taxpayers. The success of Centralized Processing Center is not the result of a single missionary or single agency or single person. It is the sum total of the vision the government of India had and income tax department had since 2010. And step by step, there were a lot of improvements. There were a lot of milestones. And I should appreciate and I should acknowledge the cooperation of the taxpayers. As I mentioned earlier, if 91% of taxpayers have chosen to e-verify their returns and they have taken into consideration the technological upgradation happened in the portal and made use of that facility to ease out the difficulties earlier they had in filing the return, filing rectifications, getting a refund. We need to necessarily give credits to the taxpayer. And definitely the system will improve with more feedback, and there will be more taxpayer friendly services shortly going to get introduced in the centralized processing center portal.
Thank you, sir. So you have heard it straight from the expert. And we hope that this 3-part episode brings you clarity and predictability in respect of returns and refunds. As Dr. Sibichen Mathew has noted, the motive of the CPC is always easing tax compliance. If any one of you has an issue in respect of your income tax return or refund, please visit www.incometax.gov.in. Click on the grievances link at the bottom of the page and write to us. We would be happy to resolve the issue as fast as we can. As the department treads along this path tirelessly, we at Samvaad are here to bring crucial information and insights to you in a timely and efficient manner. Do write to us on our social media handles if there's some topic that you want to know more about. And do follow us on our handles for regular updates on direct taxes. Till the next time from Samvaad, thank you and Jai Hind.